Well, it's the middle of summer. Can't wait till deer season starts, but it's just getting to be about that time when you'll start either purchasing a bow or you'll pick up a bow and you'll shoot it again, first time in a couple months for most people. But I thought I'd post on here a review of my PSE BowMadness XS. It is the extra short model of the BowMadness line of bows from PSE. They still have the BowMadness 3G this year, but this is a 2012 model. It is 29¼ inches axle to axle. It has an 8-inch brace height, meaning that the length from the back of the grip to the string is 8 inches. It is set at 60 pounds, but the draw weight is adjustable anywhere from 40 to 70 pounds. However, note that there are 3 sets of limbs that do that. So you have a 40 to 50 pound set, a 50 to 60 pound set, which is on this bow, and a 60 to 70 pound set that is available for this bow. The draw length is adjustable from 25 to 30 inches. Because this is a short axle to axle bow, your draw length is only adjustable up to 30 inches. So if you have a longer draw length but you really want to check out the BowMadness series, do so by checking out the 3G and the XL series bows. I'm going to show you real quick how awesome the adjustability on this bow is, and I'm going to come up there and show you the rotating module that is on the cam on this bow. And to adjust the draw length, you don't have to purchase any new modules. You are able just to rotate this red piece here on the cam to adjust your draw length. And then your draw stop, you'll see the silver right there. Your draw stop is adjustable. You'll move that with your module there. And I'll show you real quickly that each of the corresponding letters is set up on the inside of the cam for the module and the outside of the cam for the draw stop. So you'll just move that draw stop to the corresponding correct letter and where your module is. So it's really, really simple to adjust the draw length on this bow. It's something you can do at home without a bow press. You can also adjust the draw weight on this bow without a bow press. You can do a lot of stuff on this bow without a bow press. Obviously you'll have to take it into your local pro shop to get it kind of set up unless you have a bow press, but for just tinkering with it at home, the bow really does give you a lot of adjustability. If you're a new shooter, it's really awesome because things like draw length and draw weight are things you might want to adjust as you come to form, as you build up your experience, you practice. You'll really want to be able to adjust those things, so I would recommend this bow to any new archer. Some things that I would like to note about this bow: it is short axle to axle. That is both a blessing and a curse. Because it's short axle to axle, it is highly maneuverable. So I hunt out of a climbing tree stand. I'm sure some of y'all do as well. I hunt mostly white-tailed deer. But on my climbing tree stand, as you climb up, you sit on the shooting rail and move up the tree, stand, sit on the shooting rail, move up the tree, and you're always facing the tree. And that shooting rail is great, but I don't rifle hunt. So that shooting rail kind of gets in the way of bow hunting. Well, this bow really alleviates that problem because it's short axle to axle. I don't have to worry that as I'm coming to full draw that my bottom cam will clear the shooting rail of the bow and not hit it when I shoot or clank or do anything like that. So up in the tree, it's highly maneuverable. And then another thing, a lot of people shoot or hunt out of a hub style blind now, and those are really great for bow hunting, especially if you have a longer bow because they're really tall and they're great to give you the extra room you might need for a longer bow. But if you're shooting out of, or you're hunting out of a smaller ground blind, maybe you've got an Ameristep doghouse blind or something like that, this bow will fit great in that blind. And I know that a lot of people still hunt out of those doghouses because they're not god-awful expensive. They're not $250, $300 like the double bull blind is. but they're well within cost of 70, 80 bucks, and this bow will fit great in those blinds. Another thing about the short axle to axle, I told you the blessing part, but the curse is that your accuracy does suffer a little bit. Now don't let that discourage you from buying this bow. If you practice with it, you spend the time to get good with this bow, your group will be great, good enough, but even great to kill ethically an animal. And that's what counts, is if you kill an animal ethically and you're able to put an arrow in them ethically. I shoot this bow out at 40 yards. My group's somewhere around 3 or 4 inches. Now I do have a Bowtech 82nd Airborne. You'll kind of see it on the wall back there. It's 36 inches axle to axle. I can bust arrows at 40 yards with that bow. But this one, I can't do that with. You do need to understand that you're probably going to, if you suffer from form inaccuracies, and what I mean by form is how you anchor, how you come to full draw, how you shoot, how you torque your wrist, all that stuff is your form. If you suffer with form issues, then this is probably not the bow for you, unless you get teaching and counsel from an archer at a pro shop or something to help you get your form consistent, because that's the main thing with any bow, but especially with this bow. It's not as forgiving as other bows because of the short axle to axle length. Now what they did to compensate for that was the 8-inch brace height, meaning that your arrow will come off of the string well before it would if it was a short brace height. So you get a little bit more forgiveness. You won't torque left and right as much, so your arrow's going to fly pretty true, and you're not going to be able to torque it as much because of that long brace height. The bow is 75% let off, so at 60 pounds I'm holding maybe 15 pounds roundabouts, and it's really comfortable in hand. I'm going to shoot it a little bit, but before I do, I'll tell you a little bit about the IBO speed ratings. The IBO speed ratings are set at a bow 30 inches at draw length, 70 pounds draw weight, and a 350 grain arrow. Okay, I shoot this bow at 29 inches draw length, 60 pounds, and around a 400 grain arrow. So I chronoed this bow, and I was getting about 271 feet per second out of this bow. You do the math, it's about 10 pounds for every inch of draw length that you'll add, and about 10 feet per second per every inch of draw length you add, and about anywhere from 1.5 to 2 feet per second for every pound of draw weight that you add. So this bow could come very close to meeting the IBO speed rating, especially with a lighter arrow, which is going to affect the speed. It's not a speed bow. You obviously know that by the advertisements when you buy it, but it's going to have no problem reaching out and touching them, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to shoot it real quick and show you a little bit of the shooting characteristics of this bow. One thing I will note, it does draw very nice. I have owned this bow for 6 months, and I think that you really need to talk to somebody who owns the bow, talk to somebody who shot it for an extended period of time, because what I found is that first impressions are much more shallow. A lot of these guys get these bows and these reviews, and they shoot them right out of the box, and wow, they're amazed, and they just really like them, and they got all these good things to say about them. Well, that's great for you. You spend $500, you go out there and you're shooting it for 6 months, and you find a little nuance that maybe you didn't like or something, and now you're stuck with a $500 bow, and they don't nearly resell for what you bought them for. So I've owned this bow for a while, and I've shot it enough to know what kind of nuances are in it, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and I'm not endorsed by anybody, so that kind of gives you an idea of where I'm coming from with this review. But we're going to draw it back. One thing I'll note about the draw cycle, extremely smooth, no trouble. It's stiff all the way throughout. I'll tell you right now, it's not a sloppy draw cycle. It's a really sturdy draw cycle. And there is a little bit of creep in the cam, but you can play, again, you can play with that creep and that draw length stuff with your draw stop. Now the draw stop does come to the cable. It's a cable style draw stop. And most of the time bows with draw stops like that are a little spongy in the back wall. This one's solid, dead on, at around 29 inches for me. It's very comfortable. I'm going to go ahead and shoot it. And you can kind of see one of the drawbacks to this bow as well. When I shot it, you kind of see how it's setting right now. The bottom cam does kick out on this bow. It's characteristic of the PSE cam design, especially on the BowMadness series. It's a single cam, so instead of the whole bow pushing forward and coming back, you're going to have the bottom half of the bow kick out on you. What I suggest to remedy that, it's not a big issue, it's not a problem, but what I suggest is getting a wrist sling and a good stabilizer to kind of counterbalance the bow and bring it back right side up. On the shot, there's a little bit of vibration, just a hair vibration, but as far as, I mean, I've shot several different bows. A couple of the new 2013 bows. I own 4 now, a Bowtech, a Hoyt, and a Bear. And as far as vibration goes, this bow is as dead as any of them. It really is. The comfort of shooting this bow is really nice. The grip is really, I'd have to say that I really like the PSE style grip, because the less contact that your hand has with the bow, the less the movement that you make during the shot is going to affect the bow, if that makes any sense. So the thin grip on it, it's comfortable. I've never had it out in a cold setting. Never really had it out in frigid weather or anything like that. Never hunted with this bow. Outside of, you know, getting in a tree stand and shooting out of it to kind of test it out and stuff like that. But I've never had it out in the woods hunting an animal. And I would imagine that this metal grip could get extremely cold on a frigid day. So keep that in mind. You might need to wrap it with some of that limb saver rubber tape or whatever. But overall shootability is really good. When you get back and you hit the hump in the draw cycle, there is a sharp drop off into the valley before you get to the back wall. And the valley is that period of time when your cam has rotated over, you're only pulling back, you were pulling back 60 pounds and you're gradually coming up, you're reaching that peak draw weight, and then you reach that peak draw weight, your cam breaks over and you're drawing 15 pounds. There is a sharp valley in this bow, and I'll kind of draw it back again to show you exactly what I mean by that. But you did hear the bow on the camera, and the bow's really quiet. It holds, if you've ever shot a Hoyt, it holds really solid like a Hoyt. But I'll show you that sharp valley. See it right there. Boom, right there. And you can see the sharp valley. I'll shoot it again, just for kicks. And you can kind of see the bottom half of the bow kick out. But other than that, for price point bow, and not just for a price point bow, but compare it up against, I've got a Hoyt Maxxis 31, that's a $900 bow, brand new. Compare it up against some of those bows and stuff like this. Bow really does a good job. It's got its trade-offs with accuracy and things of that nature, but if you'll practice with it and you'll get good with it, you'll be as accurate as you need to be to ethically kill an animal. You're probably not going to go out, walk out and win any 3D tournaments with this bow, but that's not what this bow is for. This bow was made to be maneuverable, to be fast for its maneuverability, and to be an easy shooter. That's about it on this bow. One thing I will note that I forgot to note is the weight on this bow. The mass weight is 4.2 pounds. A lot of guys like a really light bow. This does not fall in that category. Even for a short bow, it's kind of heavy at 4.2 pounds. So if you're walking a long way to your stand, or you're walking a long way to your blind, just keep that in mind. It's not a deal breaker, but you do want to know that when you get out there, that this bow is a little bit heavier than some of the other ones on the market today. It comes with America's Best bowstrings, and you'll probably want to get those changed within the first year. Good to hunt with. They don't really have much. I've not had much issues with mine on this bow. Not had much issues with string stretch, but you probably will want to get those changed because they're not the most durable string on the market today. But overall, this bow is a great bow. If you check one out, check your local pro shop. I recommend going and shooting it. But you can pick this up on eBay for around $350 to $400 bare bow. and that's really a steal of a deal. I mean, that's a great deal for a bow of this caliber. You're not going to find another price point bow that shoots this well in that price range. It's a really good bow for the money. And you can even pick it up set up for probably around $430 to $450 is what I've found. And an interesting thing is PSE will honor their warranty if you buy it online. So a lot of the bow companies like Hoyt, Matthews, you buy a bow online, you don't get the benefit of the warranty, for the lifetime warranty. It's non-transferable, and you don't get that benefit. But if you buy this retail from an eBay store or something like that, most of the time they're dealers, and the warranty will be honored by PSE. Just don't forget to register it at PSE. That's something I forget to do most of the time to get your warranty. But this bow is an awesome bow. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you like the video, like it, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to post them in the comments below. I've got that hooked up to my email, so I'll get your question and I'll be sure to answer it for you. Thanks. My name is Andrew Gregory, and have a great day.